In today's episode of Getting Geeky with Gamer Life, I sit down with the creators of Last Days of Athobrae that's on Kickstarter. Then we'll see what's on Kickstarter, but first, a word about our sponsors. This episode is powered by Gosh Darn Bubbles from Sandwich Bag Games, which is simple to learn and play, fast and fun. So much fun, in fact, that Michael Wright, who is an unfiltered gamer, went out and got a bubble machine. So run on over and check out their Kickstarter, which we'll have a link in the show notes, or just head on over to sandwichbaggames.com, look for an interview with them, and if you're listening after that, go back and listen. Plus, be on the lookout for a giveaway over at thegiveawaygeek.com. And if you want some super fast, simple fun, make sure you back Gosh Darn Bubbles on Kickstarter before Thursday, the 20th of June. I love it when a good game hits the floor running on Kickstarter, such is the case with this game. This episode is proudly powered by Bard Games and Fickle, a fairy board game featuring the art of Amy Brown. Fickle is a quick set collection game with unique scoring and press your luck mechanics, customizable gameplay, and gorgeous art. You have 5 rounds to win the ritual of ascendancy with your fellow players by manipulating their fairy cards. Choose a fairy family to gain its power and add it to your scoring alliance. The winner must gather a single fairy from each family or shoot the moon to win with a single faction. It sounds like an awesome game, and the art as well is spectacular. Want to know more? Well, go give my interview with the designer a quick listen. In my interview entitled, Are You Fickle? You Might Be a Fairy. Then after that, make sure you go and enter their giveaway we're doing with them over at thegiveawaygeek.com, in which one winner will receive Sherlock Holmes, The Vanishing Man, Pocket General World War II, and a playmat featuring Fickle art. The prize is valued at approximately $100 USD. Most importantly though, make sure you check out their Kickstarter for Fickle that reached its funding goal in only 12 hours, and then back it before Tuesday the 18th of June.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
There isn't an Athobraean among us who can say there were no warnings, but a combination of greed, ignorance, denial, and a complete inability to unite together has seen them go unheeded. And so, it has come to this, the point of no return. Athobrae's terminal breath is upon us, but we aren't the kind of race to just sit around waiting for the exhale. It's time to dust off that old never say die Athobraean spirit and start building those IQVs we never could get properly funded through Congress. The technology is there. We just need the will to do it. We're going to build a sweet ride and blow this planet before it, well, blows.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me either, but this is a story, or one of the stories, that goes along with Last Days of Athobrae Apocalypse that's currently on Kickstarter, and tonight we're lucky enough to have on the creators and masterminds behind this game. Is that right? Is that how you guys fit into line with Last Days of Athobrae, David and Brad?
Yes. That's right.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. We really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Now, before we jump into everything that's your game, let's rewind a little bit if we could. We don't have to go back too terribly far, but how did you guys get into playing tabletop board games?
Oh, man. Well, yeah, you're right. We don't have to go back that far, but a good 10 years. We both worked the night shift at a boys' home early in our careers. And during that time, there was a good few hours where we were able to sit down and have to pass the time. And I would say the one that really sort of kicked it all off for me was Flying Frogs Last Night on Earth. So it was a zombie apocalypse game. If people are not familiar with it, it's kind of a classic at this point. But having that time to sit down and play, I just loved the moving the little pieces around and being able to see how the zombie hordes were strategically being very slowly walking towards you and cornering you. You really got a sense of terror. And I loved the visual and tactile of it.
What about yourself, Brad?
Well, that's I've been playing for a long time, but Last Night on Earth was also an inspiration. We actually they encourage you to create your own game with it sometimes. So they give you extra pieces and whatnot, and I created Ash from Evil Dead character, and he had a chainsaw and a shotgun, and you had to get the book and destroy the book.
Yeah, it was nothing short of amazing.
Awesome. I love that. I binged on that a while back ago.
Yeah. I just binged it myself, so
so that was the beginnings of creating games. Like that kind of got me and got the bug.
Awesome. And what are you guys playing these days?
Athobrae.
We've been doing a whole lot of playtesting Athobrae. All right. But we were just at Strategicon, so I picked up a few games that seemed like fun. The Battle Wizards, the epic battling card game. I happen to really love the way those kind of bizarro, putting the different spells together, and just outrageous humor. So I've been enjoying that one quite a bit these days.
Yeah, and we had some company over a couple weeks ago, and we played Codenames, which is also a classic that we really enjoy.
Oh yeah, Codenames is great. As party games go, I can't imagine a more cerebral and hilarious one.
Well, there you go. Awesome. And like you said, word on the street is you guys recently created, well, I don't know how recent it was, the start of it at least, but you created a game. What can you tell us about Last Days of Athobrae?
Well, Last Days of Athobrae is basically, Athobrae is a dying planet. So there's the 5 civilizations. You heard a little bit about that in the story. All the war and all the pollution that they have been spewing out for so long has finally caught up to them. And it is truly the last days. So that means the planet is fast dying. And now it is up to you to save your civilization, and your civilization alone. It's a very competitive game. You got to get out there, get the last of the dwindling resources, and build a spaceship to be the one civilization that blasts off and survives. Now, the mechanic this is Brad's brilliant genius stroke, honestly. But the mechanic I love most of all is that as the game progresses, the planet literally falls apart under your feet. The planet of Athobrae on the board is comprised of hex tiles. It's a 2-sided hex tile. So the first time it hits on the cards, you flip it over, and it's going to burp out some resources that you could maybe grab. But the second time that same spot gets called, it literally goes away. So it becomes more difficult to get the stuff that you need. Your opponents become more and more desperate. And to top it all off, there's a deck of world event cards just to add insult to injury when you're trying your best to get all you need to get off the planet.
Okay, and so I'm trying to get off the planet before everybody else, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah. First one off the planet wins. And it is possible, actually, if there's enough infighting and you're not balancing your actions well, it's not impossible for the planet to win, and no one gets off the planet alive.
Okay, but it's more competitive than co-op, or it's kind of a little bit of both, maybe?
There's not really any co-op unless you're, have an unholy alliance with someone because somebody else is ahead. But that doesn't mean you're going to be friendly with them throughout the game.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, me and my family, we're more for the competitive games than co-ops.
Yeah.
Most definitely, yeah. I like the competitive edge. Yeah, but, there's a lot to be said. That's another game that we actually have played quite a bit of this pandemic. It changed my mind on the cooperative scheme of things. And then we ended up playing a lot of cooperative games for a little while, and I was like, I want to get back to the good old-fashioned, I win kind of thing. So I really like the competitive edge.
Most definitely. Speaking of you win, who's the reigning champion between the two of you?
Oh, jeez.
His wife.
Yeah.
that's
all.
Yeah. She never fails, rather, to surprise. That's for sure. Yeah. She's really good at it. But I'd have to say Brad after, and then I'm third. I like to I like to use all those little sneaky abilities, and then I end up going like, oh no, I don't have enough actions to actually get off the planet.
Well, there you go. 3 out of 3 isn't bad, I guess.
Yeah, right. 3 out of 3. I got the bronze.
There you go. Awesome. So per se, we three sat down to play last days of Athobrae. What's my turn going to look like?
You have 3 actions, and you get to choose from, let's see, I don't know, about 8. But in the beginning, you're only going to really be doing a few. And the first few actions you really learn in the beginning of the game is to research and develop, which is to access your card, draft cards up into your hand. And then the next may be a move to move your scouts to places you need to get resources from. And then the search action to search for those resources. Other actions would be to build technology or your ship. Obviously, the ship is the objective, but if you just focus on your ship, then it's vulnerable to attack by other players. If you build technology, they come with shields where you can divert attacks from players to those shields. There's also special abilities. Each individual civilization has a unique special ability. They have unique decks of cards, unique technology. Special ability. To play a special ability, you have to use an action. There's also regrouping, which happens when all your scouts die, and that does happen. So you have to spend 3 actions just to get a scout back into the world. There's also recruiting scouts, which you start with 2, but you have up to 5, depending on if you built the technology for the 5th or not. And that is to spend 4 red cubes to bring a scout into the world. You can spend 8 to bring 2 out, and so on and so forth as 1 action. You spend as much as you need to bring those scouts out. And then the last one is the game-winning action, and that's the fuel the IQV, which is the interstellar quantum vehicle. So once you've built it and you have the fuel, you use an action to fuel it, and then you win.
Okay, awesome. And I suffer from AP, or what they call analysis paralysis. How does that affect people like myself in your game with all the actions?
Yeah. Well, if you don't know the game, then it will probably likely affect you because you have to know the cards. You have to read the cards. So that'll take some time first time around.
And there's definitely like sometimes we call it the game of difficult choices, because when you're drafting cards into your deck, you draw 3 and you have to pick one of them. So sometimes that can lead to like, oh, if I do this, then I could do that. If I do this, I could do that. But once you get into the rhythms of the game and you settle in on a strategy, because you'll start noticing the types of things cards can do. So once you kind of have a handle on that and you've got your strategy sort of planned out, it moves along at a better clip, I would say.
Until the world screws you over and you have to change your strategy.
Yeah, it's always good to have a plan B on this planet. It's a very dangerous world.
And it's all asymmetrical. Every different race or people has their own different secret powers, you said, or special powers?
Correct. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, everyone is unique. And the cool thing is, as you're drafting up those cards, you're going to get a combination of technology to build, which, like Brad said, gives you shields to protect your spaceship, but it also gives you some really cool superpowers. And you can also get events that happen in those decks that are unique, and you can also get, the blueprints, which they're all the same for everyone. So the technology and the blueprints, you need resources to build, and the events you can just play, and they're usually quite the boon. So it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. The events, I feel like, play towards, helping you out when the world's dealt you some bad blows. And that's what I was actually going to say, because you talked about the turn. So a player's turn is those 3 actions. And when it goes around a full circle, then it becomes the doom phase, which is an important part of the game, because that's when the planet starts falling apart beneath your feet. And that's when you draw the world event card.
How does that look, the world falling apart beneath your feet?
So there is, at the bottom of the board, there is like an alphabetical grid in a way. So you have A, B, C, D, all the way up to I. And what would happen is you get a location card, and it would say A2, and then you'd go A, and then you count upwards from A, each hex. And it'd be A, and then hex 1, hex 2. Hex 2 would flip, and then resources would come out, and then you would read a world event that would happen to that space, sometimes the whole world. If it's somebody's city, then it would happen to just their city. If you call a location card that has already been flipped, and you can tell because there's pictographs of resources on the flipped hex tiles. If that happens, then the hex tile is removed, and anything on the hex tile is discarded, or if it's a scout, it goes back to your city, and you have to pay for them again. And then, again, a world event would be called. So that happens twice per round for the first 5 rounds. And then we have a pandemic type of card that's stacked in the deck that after 5 rounds, it comes up, and it will speed the demise of the world by an additional card. For the next 5 rounds. So you'd be doing 3 instead of 2. And then the next 5 rounds be 4 instead of 3, and then 5 instead of 4.
And if you don't have a good chunk of your ship built by the time you're drawing 4 or 5 cards, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You got to watch those cards. So they're the tell. So they should really be dictating, like, when those cards start popping up, it tells you, like, okay, I got to get a move on my spaceship here.
Okay, awesome. It sounds really fun. You talked about during your you play tested a lot and stuff. During that play testing, was there ever anything you guys had to scrap because it just wouldn't work for the game?
I wouldn't say scrap, but there was a lot of adjustments. The game worked pretty well the first time we went through, but there was definitely a lot of questions about. We had people like that would focus on their ship, and like the game would go so fast that you'd never see the world fall apart. So that's when we added the technology and being able to attack the ship parts, because then people would build the technology as well, the ship parts, to protect the ship parts. What else did we adjust?
Well, I think one of the biggest things during the playtest that we were adjusting is balance, because there were some cities that seemed like way too powerful, and we had to like figure out exactly how their abilities could work within the milieu so that everyone had a fighting chance. And of course, there's the famous trading post. You can't have to throw it in the trading post. So we could not really get that. It just didn't work within the milieu of the game. The trading against enemies.
The mechanic worked. It's just people, when we first started this game, people wanted it to be like Catan. They wanted to trade between players. And so I beat my head against the table thinking, how can I do this? And I came up with a trading post, and the actual mechanic would work fine. It took an action to put the stuff out there, but it didn't take an action to take it back or something to that effect. And we put the trading post in, and we play tested like 5 or 6 times with it, and nobody used the trading post.
Yeah. No one ever used it.
So we took it back out of the game.
Well, there you go. Awesome. And it looks like if somebody wants to see how it's played or whatnot, I vaguely recall you guys playing with Michael Wright, the Unfiltered Gamer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that we did play with him. That was last year. And there's some things that, I mean, for the most part, it's the same game, but there's a couple things that have changed since then. We also have a playthrough that we did this past weekend. It's a shorter game, but it has the most recent updated rules being played. And we also have the short 15-minute how-to video as well.
Okay, awesome. And so this isn't the first round on Kickstarter. What has changed since the last time you tried on Kickstarter?
Well, we lowered the goal about 10,000. We almost hit 14 last time. So we were thinking if we went, instead of going for 1,000 units, we were going for 500, and then we could drop it down to 20,000, and that get us with our backers, our current backers. Maybe we can get that up front this time and get closer to our goal. So we're doing okay. We're at like 55% right now.
Well, there you go. And it hasn't been going that long, has it?
No.
Tomorrow will be the first week officially. So we went up on the 28th of May. So I'm quite pleased with how it's been moving forward. And it looks like we got quite a few of the backers back. So it looks like it's coming along.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, that's always good to see them when they come back, when they have a first rough go and then come back on Kickstarter and nail it. So that's good that it's doing a lot better. Now, when it comes to Last Days of Athobrae, what makes your game pop as one my audience should go check out? And if they like what they see, back it on Kickstarter today.
I have to say, the thing that sticks out the most is the world falling apart mechanic. Everybody that sees that and realizes it, is blown away by it, and they love it. When I'm at conventions, I have 2 boards set up. I have one board where it's set up at the beginning of the game and one board set up at the end of the game. And people come by and I say, this is how the planet starts and that's how the planet ends. And everyone is like, oh, I thought it was the other way. I was like, no. And they're like, that's really a cool mechanic. So that's usually what draws people into play.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, as far as when you said the word pop, it made me think this is probably not the most. I don't know. I just think it's really pretty. It's very colorful. It's eye catching, and like to know where it started from, to see like the original prototypes made out of foam, and to see its development into what we've got right now. It just looks so cool. But I mean, as for a more gaming type thing, what I love is the individual characters and how you can, if you play to their strengths and you want to be a sneaky little rogue, you got to take the Dane. You want like the mystical help from Tulakran, the god of Athobrae, then you play the Tolkor, and there's the scientific Qual. And each one has their own unique way to sort of navigate the world. And I think that's super cool. It just adds to the replayability where you can, stick with the guys that you love, or, challenge yourself a little bit and go for a civilization that you're not as comfortable with.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll make sure we leave all the links in the show notes so people can come on over and check out the Kickstarter and see what you have going on there. Word on the street is you're doing a giveaway with us over at thegiveawaygeek.com. What can people try to win over there?
If they enter, they have a chance to win the base game pledge level, which is a $59 value.
So they get themselves a game. And I'm assuming that if we pass any stretch goals, that would all be
They would also
get the stretch goals, right?
would be included.
Yeah. So, one free dying world.
Well, there you go. Awesome. And word on the so speaking of stretch goals, I'm looking at one for I know we got to get it funded first, but at 40,000, is that a neoprene mat that you have there?
So that's like a dual layer mat where you can actually have like the little holes for the resources to go in, so that when you accidentally hit your mat, it doesn't go all over the place.
Okay.
So right now the resources are these little cubes, a lot like the pandemic cubes. And they sit right in the different either city storage or the Scout's backpack, and there's a place in the card for it. But to have that double layer one where they just snugly fit in so perfectly and beautiful, that would be amazing.
Awesome. And it looks like there's a pretty cool or pretty nifty collector's box that people can pick up too.
Oh, yeah. That a very, very dear friend of mine is a carpenter. He makes furniture here in Los Angeles. And he's watched us and actually play tested with us, and he's been seeing the genesis of this whole thing. And so for one Christmas, he surprised me with this incredible wooden box. It was like one of the greatest Christmas gifts I ever got. And he has agreed to help us out and make some more for any of the people that want to go to that pledge level. It will be a handmade, unique collector's wooden box, and I can assure you, it looks lovely. I keep mine out. I don't put it away. I leave it for all to see in my home, and everyone's like, cool. So, yeah, I love that.
Awesome. And like I said, we'll make sure we leave all the links in the show notes so they can go ahead and enter the giveaway, as well as check out the Kickstarter and see if it's a game they like, check everything out, and just, see if it's a game they can go watch it being played on the videos there. A whole slew of things they can do, and when it comes to Last Days of Athobrae. But mine is coming there to your hometown to stalk you. How would people go about keeping up with you and everything you guys have going on over there at Moonlit More Games?
Well, we have a website, obviously, www.moonlitmore.com. And then we're also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Facebook is at Moonlit More Games, Instagram's at Moonlit More Games, and Twitter is at Moonlit More LLC.
And if you're going to already be going to these places to visit and keep up with them, you might as well head on over to enter the giveaway that'll be in the end of the show notes, or as well as thegiveawaygeek.com, because by taking some of those actions, you'll be entered into giveaway copy of the base game, and you might as well pick up a copy of the base game as well, or one of the collector boxes or anything, and then you can have one and give one to a friend. But yeah, like I said, we don't want to keep you guys all night, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us today to talk all about the Last Days of Athobrae Apocalypse, which will be on Kickstarter through Saturday the 29th of June. Wow, that was great. Now I'm even more excited about the Last Days of Athobrae Apocalypse that's on Kickstarter through Saturday the 29th of June. If you are too, make sure you head on over to their Kickstarter page and back it. Plus, they're doing a giveaway with us over at thegiveawaygeek.com. Check it out. Let's take a walk, not to the corner store, but to Kickstarter Corner.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaves computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leaves.
I'm a big fan of retro Nintendo games. I was quite glad to hear that one of our proud Kickstarter backers, Vespius Media, just launched Monstrosity Rampage, which gives me the feel of none other than the video game Rampage that I loved back in the day. Unlike the board game formerly known as Rampage, Monstrosity Rampage is a real-time co-op speed dice smash the city game that elevates your adrenaline levels to the maximum. It's even got an awesome narrative fight the evil genius Dr. Spotnik with your monster squad in this epic city smashing game. Even though here in the Leaf household we prefer competitive games, I'm going to back it now, and you should too. If it's not up when you're first listening to this episode, make sure you check back later on in the episode show notes to enter a giveaway we're doing over at thegiveawaygeek.com with Vespius Media, or you can just go over there to thegiveawaygeek.com. I just found another miniatures game as well. Slightly 30 years ago, I thought these years would be more awesome than they are. We still don't have flying cars nor real hoverboards, but I still am a die-hard true and blue fan of Back to the Future. So, about 30 years in the future from now is Omnicore Protocol. If our world doesn't turn out like this come 30 years from now, I won't be as sad as the lack of Back to the Future tech has made me. Omnicore Protocol is an intra-apocalyptic squad-based arena combat miniatures game for 1 to 4 players with a third-party enemy that your opponent controls. There's 4 great factions to choose from. My favorite from the looks of it would have to be the one with a huge elephant named Jugger and Bob the Bear. Let's make this game a reality by backing it on Kickstarter before Thursday the 20th of June. Make sure you subscribe to the show so you don't miss the episode in which I sit down to chat about this awesome looking game. If you had to add a classification to my video game tendencies, you could say I'm more of a retro kind of guy. Or just old, as the family likes to call me. So, my favorite gaming system of all time is the original Nintendo Entertainment System. I also love me some Tetris 99. I've been playing a lot of that on the Switch. They recently had an event in which if you scored 100 points, you get Tetris in the theme of Game Boy. Game Boy Tetris. Wow. I got it and am loving it. So, when I saw a Dungeon Royale board game, I was quite pleased. Reason being, the box is in the shape of, you guessed it, a Game Boy from back in the day. I've got to have it. I'm not the only one who feels that way either. It reached its funding goal in a measly 2 hours and 1 minute. They were going for $8,000 and are sitting at just over $46,000 at the time of this recording. Dungeon Royale board game is a video game turned board game. First game cartridge of the series to come. Full of death, stealing, heroes, and dragons. It's like a video game, but it's not. This is an all-out battle royale to see who will win the victor's spoils and exit with the Stone of Life. And you can tell your mom it's not a video game, but it kind of is. You move through the dungeon at the same time you attack each other with magical, powerful, or crude weapons. You try to level up before your opponents, and you even die and then respawn like a video game. You will steal artifacts and treasures from each other, and of course at times you'll run away from the destructive dragon. And did I tell you the box it comes in is awesome sauce? Well, it is. Intrigued? I thought you might be. Run on over right now and check out their Kickstarter campaign and back Dungeon Royale board game before Thursday the 20th of June. Plus, if I can align my cards right, I'm hoping to be able to get them on the show so we can find out more. So make sure you subscribe to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Have you been preparing for the zombie apocalypse? You might be just about ready for it, but are you ready for the final minutes of said apocalypse? I didn't think so. Then you're going to need this new game, Final Minutes, the Zombie Apocalypse, which is a board game that puts your survival instincts to the test. If you like gaming and you like a challenge where skill and chance are both involved, then you will like this game. If you are also one of those select few who doesn't want to be eaten by the zombies, then Final Minutes, the Zombie Apocalypse, is definitely for you. Don't be like those people in the Midwest when a storm is scheduled to come to town that are scouring the grocery store for everything they need to get through the storm, because when the zombies come, the weather guy isn't going to be forecasting such things. So head on over to Kickstarter and back Final Minutes, the Zombie Apocalypse today, because I really don't want them to eat your brains.
If I were a zombie, I'd never eat your brain. I just want your heart, yeah, I don't want your heart, I just want your heart, yeah. Oh, if I were a zombie, I'd never eat your brain. I just want your heart, yeah, I don't want your heart, I just want your heart, 'cause I want you.
Or I guess in that instance, we could save your heart. Either way, don't miss out and back Final Minutes, the Zombie Apocalypse today. I'm going to have John the creator on the show, so make sure you tune in or come back and listen to my Final Minutes episode to save your brain or heart, as Stephanie Maybe so eloquently puts it in that rendition of the zombie song. If you liked any of the games we talked about in today's episode, make sure you check out their Kickstarter campaigns to show them and us a little love. Backing them goes a long way. Plus, make sure to stay up to date on all the giveaways we're doing over at thegiveawaygeek.com. There will be at least 2 to 3 new giveaways going live over there next week. It's our least favorite time as well as yours, so until next episode, make sure you go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others in the geek fold by sharing our episodes with others, as well as keeping up with the giveaways we're doing over at thegiveawaygeek.com. Gamer Leaf out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.